Good Thursday to all of you. I am Ryan, Michigan Storm Chasers, back again for an update video here for the next couple of days of weather here in Michigan. It's going to be a warm one, but for those winter lovers, January is still a time period to watch. We're going to talk about that here as well in today's video. So I hope you guys had a great Christmas and stay tuned to the end of the video for a giveaway. We're going to be giving away MSC t-shirts, so stay tuned for that. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the models. So as we've advertised here for the past like 5 or 10 days or so, the time frame between Christmas and New Year's is trending to be above average in terms of temperatures. Looking at the meteogram out of the Belleville area, go ahead and take this full screen for you guys. There we go. So I hope you guys can see that. Looking at upper 30s today, low 40s tomorrow, and then Saturday, we're going to get close to 60 degrees. Yes, 60, close to it in Southeast Michigan. Elsewhere, though, looking at mid to upper 50s, likely for a good chunk of South Central Michigan. Further north, up in northern lower UP areas, looking at upper 40s for you guys for your weekend, Saturday in particular. And then we get past Sunday as a high 40s stat, low to mid 40s on Monday. And then that New Year time comes around, January 1st, we start seeing a return back to near normal temperatures, right around freezing. 34 for a high for your Wednesday, 29 for Thursday, and then about at that period is where we're going to stop right there. As anything beyond that is just an idea, not really a forecast. But do keep in mind it does stay on the colder side there on the model through the first 10 days of January. Now, looking at the rain potential, we have some rain moving in to the state overnight tonight into tomorrow, which is going to be your Friday morning. Here on our short-term model guidance we use called the HRRR, we're going to see some rain showers popping up there across the central part of the state as early as 2 in the morning tonight. Should be pretty light in nature. As that moves north, the main attraction, so to speak, moves up from the southwest, a bit more so lighter to moderate, steady, more of a steady rain moving in for our daytime tomorrow into Saturday night, or sorry, Friday night into Saturday morning. And that will continue through Saturday morning into about the Saturday afternoon time period before it finally tapers off for the entire state around that noon Saturday time period. So heaviest of rain should be during the afternoon and evening tomorrow into the overnight period into Saturday morning before it tapers off. As far as rain accumulation totals go, we did put a map out on our Facebook page earlier today in terms of what we're kind of expecting. I'll go ahead and bring it up here on the model for you guys. This is going to be ran through the Saturday morning time frame. We're looking at pretty much a quarter inch or so across a good chunk of South Central Michigan. Further north, though, in the UP and especially north central lower Michigan here, we are seeing an area perhaps a little bit higher amounts, close to a half inch or perhaps a little bit over a half inch possible. So if you're in northern Michigan, in that black circled area I just put here on the screen, you guys could top a half inch. But if you're south of that down here, like Detroit, 94 corridor, 96 corridor, you guys could expect right around a quarter inch, give or take, a couple hundredths of an inch there. So not a soaking rain by any means, or should I say not a meaningful rain by any means, but being that we are in a drought still, we'll take anything we can get. And I wouldn't expect any flooding concerns with this round, although I will say if you can melt some snow away, some localized, backyard flooding or perhaps some street flooding if your drains are clogged by snow, a possibility. But this is not going to be a heavy rain by any means, just as more of a steady, longer duration type. It's the kind we kind of need at this point with our drought here in Michigan. Next 7 days past that look fairly active in terms of the pattern going forward here to the European model. This is going to be a little longer term look as well, but we're going to start in a short term. This is the European model showing us systems and precip types working through. So obviously green is rain, blue is snow, and that pinkish purple is going to be a mix. So moving through the time frame, here's our system coming up for our Friday into Saturday night area. So rain overspreads the region there, continues throughout the day. That system passes through on Saturday. Would not be shocked if you notice here in the western part of the UP here, we could see some wet snowflakes mix in over toward Ironwood areas during the daytime on Saturday. Would not be shocked by that at all. Accumulation should be pretty minor, if any, for you guys over there. But do want to point that out. Temperatures do hover close to freezing, which could change some of that rain to snow in the western UP. As we move into the weekend, though, here comes our next system in for our Sunday period. All rain once again, and yes, it's going to be quite warm, close to 60 degrees for Southeast Michigan. No severe weather is expected. The main area of low pressure for that would be further south, so anything severe is going to be down here in the Carolinas, Tennessee, Georgia areas, although I don't think this system is a very good one for severe overall, but we're on the north side of this center of the low pressure, so we're not going to be seeing much of any impact here besides just rain for you guys for our Sunday. So no concerns there. Rainfall could be moderate at times. And as that system moves off into the Monday morning period off to the east northeast of us, we could see a changeover to some mixed precip, perhaps some snow accumulations for the east side. Should be pretty minor in nature, but I think the majority of this falls as rain for sure. But do keep in mind we do cool off for your early Monday morning time period, late Sunday evening time period. Now, moving into the long term here, we continue to stay active, but remember going back to our temperature graph here, we're dropping off close to freezing around that New Year time period. So looking at colder air, but not too cold, so to speak. We're not talking like the single digits or the teens. We're talking like 30s, low to mid 30s, 32, 34, and low temperatures into the high 20s, 27, 29 there. So notice that we're going to have a few systems pass through here. Here's one coming in for next Tuesday, according to the European. We could be cold enough to mix some snowflakes here for Michigan. But again, this could also be rain. It's going to come down to the temperatures during this time period. So Tuesday, another system works through, continuing this cycle throughout the period. Notice how our winds also behind that system turn northwesterly. That may ramp up our lake effect machine once again for lake effect prone areas for midweek next week. We'll keep an eye on that very closely. As we continue in the very long term, this is where the models really start kind of getting a little bit more sporadic in their ideas. But overall, the idea of an active pattern continues. Another system on track here to pass through around that next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend time period, 10-day or so period. That continues to work through as snow. And then as we continue to work through our systems here into the very long term, this is January 8th, 9th, 10th area, we continue to have system after system passing through here. That this model says snow. And the idea would be supported as well. If we go into our 8 to 14 day CPC outlook, we remain below average on the forecast here from the Climate Prediction Center for temperatures. What that means is your average temperature for January is right around 30 degrees or so, high 20s, low 30s. So we're aiming to be below that. So it could be mid to upper 20s there, or perhaps lower for some of these parts of Michigan there. But overall takeaway, a cold pattern is developing here beginning in January. But after that January 10th time period is what really has my eye personally, but also the Alpa forecast team here from Joel to Alex. We're all really keying in on that January 10th time period. Why? Well, because we are seeing an Arctic air response on the models. We actually kind of see it on our meteogram here, going back to the temperature graph. January 10th has a high temperature of 6 degrees, which is 15 days out or so. But the idea has been there for quite some time that the January 10th time period, not exactly the 10th, but around that period of time, we could see an Arctic blast that could usher in a very cold and very snowy pattern. And that still looks to be the case here as well. So I want to point that out. And again, going to the long term here, the anomaly map here with the warm temperature shown in orange, which is currently on your screen, that is your above average temperatures. Notice how we're going to see a shift here around that January 10th time period, right about here. Bam. Here comes that blue for the eastern US. That is your below average temperature anomaly. And that sticks around for quite some time throughout the month of January. This model going very extended into the future, into the first part of February, keeps us in below average temperature contour there. So what I'm trying to say here to you guys is a very cold and very snowy pattern is developing here for that mid-January time period. Now, give or take a few days, it just looks to be right on that 10th of January time frame. It looks to kind of lock in and really start and solidify here winter-like conditions. So we're continuing to watch that time period, but overall, let's get through the first couple of days here, starting with our above average temperatures next couple of days, some rain chances Friday and Sunday, and then some systems that could bring both rain and snow chances for Tuesday and again toward that end of next week time period. With that being said, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor, Katz Roofing and Siding, based out of the Lansing area. They do roofing, siding, window, and gutter needs. You can give them a call, 517-485-9886. And thank you to Katz for sponsoring this YouTube video. Now, if you guys made it to the end, please be sure to hit the like button. Let's do a giveaway here. So I am thinking of a number. This might be probably the worst way of doing things, but we'll do it anyway. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 100. You guys in the comments have to guess which one, and I'm going to sort by newest. So the first one that guesses that number when I sort by most recent comments will win. Okay. In fact, I'll go ahead and write this number down now, which is not really going to matter to you guys watching on replay, but I do have this number written down here on my sticky note I'll go ahead and put it here so I remember. And first person that guesses that number will win an MSC t-shirt. With that being said, I will catch you guys tomorrow for another Michigan Storm Chasers YouTube update video. You guys stay safe, stay warm out there, and enjoy a little bit of a heat wave here between the holidays.